Number 41 in the Radiance range is 18 Years in Prison, directed by Kato, released in 1967. This is a somewhat kind of typical gangster movie, but with Kato's direction, it's as interesting as all his films are. We follow Noboru Ando, who plays Kawada, a man who's struggling to survive in post-war Japan. And he and a friend decide to steal some copper wire, just trying to make money so that they can feed and help their neighbourhood. But when they get caught by military police, Kawada decides that only one of them needs to take the fall for this. The other one needs to get away, needs to help the community, help it thrive and survive in this terrible climate that they are. And he sacrifices himself, going to jail. And we kind of zip through a lot of the time in jail as Kawada becomes indoctrinated into the system as he struggles to get by, as he deals with the situation that he has set onto himself, and becomes friends with people out there, takes people under his wing, sees people that he has affected in his actual life because of his dealings within the war. And it becomes an interesting character study as you watch a man being punished for the crimes that he did outside in the world, but also punishing himself for some of the things that he believes he did that was wrong during the war, which is a really nice, interesting aspect of the character. He's staying in jail, taking this punishment because he believes he deserves it. And he hopes that his sacrifice is paying dividends with the people in the streets. What he doesn't realise is his friend, the person he relied on, the person that was his blood brother, was actually not the greatest guy to trust and charge, and he has turned the place into a rather, well, a not great place to live. Rather than giving them the market that they so desperately needed, he took that away, turning it into something far more horrible, far more lecherous and destructive to the community. And when Kawada discovers this, he makes it his life to try and get out and take vengeance against this man who he feels has wronged him, the community, and everything else that he was entrusted with, which is a great kind of story. It is packed into this really tight 91 minutes, and I really loved the fact that it spends a lot of time in the jail as we just see this character mindlessly going through the motions, living. Now, there is a kind of martyrdom to being there, to taking this punishment, but it's also an easy life for the character. He gets meals, he gets a job, he gets interaction with other people. He didn't get that in the outside world. There was a strange kind of dichotomy between this forced upon life, which is actually better, and his freedom, where he was struggling to make ends meet, which I really enjoyed. There are some nice side stories, particularly with the friend who has turned to the dark side and is taking advantage of the people he should be lifting up. There is a young man who has spent his life within institutions who comes to the prison, and rather than being tepid, a little bit afraid, taking care and time to get to know everything, comes in like a bull in a china shop, trying to just knock heads and prove that he is the king. Which is a really fun character, and it comes into play a lot with the movie. In this one is the act of people almost sacrificing their lives for the greater good. But it happens many times throughout the film. There is a moment where Yakuza gangster gives up his life to give someone else a chance. Something that they had no involvement with. They just stumbled across the tail end of it. They take the complete punishment for it to allow someone else to realise their mistakes and grow from it. and that is primarily what the film is preaching towards us. I think this was another terrific film with amazing performances. You get Tomosaboru Wakayama, who was the lead in the Bounty Hunter movies. It's great to kind of see these people turn up in other kind of roles. Here he is a kind of hardened prison guard who is a little bit dirty and a little bit morally, yeah, that's probably the best. But it was great to see him appear in this film as well, amongst other familiar faces that are starting to appear in all of these movies as well. Let's dive into the extras for 18 years in prison. Have a look at them. In the disc for 18 years in prison, let's go to the special features. First up, we have Tony Raines, curator and Asian cinema expert. Tony discusses the film and its place within Thai Kato's filmography, created exclusively for Radiance in April 2024. This runs at 24 minutes and 17 seconds. And as always, there is a wealth of information here as we run through the career and life of Tai Kato, as we move into Ando, one of the main stars, and then into the film itself. And there, as I said, wealth of information. We have Tall Escapes. Writer and film historian Tom Mez traces the history and evolution of the prison movie in Japanese cinema. This runs at 60 minutes 57 seconds and actually comes at the perfect time, as I've been slowly getting into a few of these prison movies with Abashiri Prison, the series, a few other movies, and to see them pop up, to see their context within the range, how it kind of hit at the perfect time and became the main genre for a little while, which is fascinating. And of course, I went away with a list of movies I now need to track down and watch. There is a trailer. Finally, in this set is a 24-page booklet where you get a wonderful piece by Tom Mez tracking the careers of Tai Kato, Kinji Fukasaku, and Akira Kurosawa. Interview with Noboru Ando, which is really kind of fun as well. And that's the extras for 18 years in prison. There we have it. Out now, 18 Years in Prison is another terrific film. It kind of rounds out the little trilogy of Tai Kato movies that we've had from Radiance thus far. I would love to see more. He did Red Peony Gambler 3 for Eureka, which was an outstanding film as well, and probably the best looking of those three films, probably my favourite of that trilogy as well. And I'm looking to see more of this filmmaker. Why don't you let me know your thoughts on the film in the comment box below, whether you loved it, hated it, or fell somewhere in the middle. As always, there is more content up here. You can see more of my stuff. In the description box below are links to Patreon, membership program, and vfilm.com, all ways in which you can support me. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.